Hello and welcome to my channel. If you like DIYs, farmhouse decor, upcycling, and more, you've come to the right place. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today I'm going to be making a tabletop shelf to coordinate with the hanging shelf I made a couple weeks ago that you see here in the pictures. So let's get started. Okay, let's take a look at what you're going to need for today's project. So you are going to need 3 5-gallon paint sticks, and you can pick those up at Lowe's or Home Depot in a package of 3 for 98 cents. And they don't have this red writing on the back like Ace does. On the back of these you can see in white they have measurements, so they don't show up so much. But I'm going to use these because it's going to be a project for myself, and this will be on the bottom side so no one's going to see it. You're also going to need a couple of large craft sticks, or in this case 1-quart paint sticks. And again, I got these at Lowe's, I believe, and they were 98 cents for a pack of 30, but you're only going to need 2. And then from the Dollar Tree, these tumbling tower game blocks. Now I got them back when the boxes were small. From what I understand, they're about twice as big now, so I mean you get twice as many. And when I got them, they came with 2 different colors in the box instead of all one color. I wish it was all one color, but I've divided them up. The ones I'm going to use on the top that I'm going to stain, the ones that I'm going to use on the bottom, I'm going to use the brown ones. And I believe, 14 of these, 8 for the top and 6 for the bottom. And then of course you're going to need something like this. I'm going to be staining it using this Folk Art Home Decor wax in antique. You can use paint, you can use chalk paint, you can use whatever you want to make it match your home decor. And also you can use a hot glue gun, but I am going to be using Beacon Fabri-Tac to glue all of this together. So I think that covers everything you're going to need, and I thought I would point out how inexpensive this is. Here's 98 cents right here. Here's $1 right here. There's enough in here to do 2 of these. So if you think about it, it's going to be less than $3 to make 2 of these today. So let's get started. So the first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to take your paint sticks and you're going to cut them off right here before the curve starts, so right across there. And it's best to leave them all in the package so it holds everything snug and even together. And then you can just saw those right off, whether you're using a hand saw or a miter saw, whatever you're using. And when you cut them off, this is what they'll look like. And they're approximately 17 inches long. Let me see if I can get it. There you go, 17 inches long. Okay, now I'm going to move those aside for a minute because we're going to get to these 1-quart paint sticks or large craft sticks, and we're going to cut the rounded end off. So just kind of figure out approximately where that is. This is going to go flying. It always does. There it goes. Okay, and we're going to do that on both ends. And there it goes. I need to find a better way to do this so they don't go flying. Okay, so with that done, let me move this up a little so you can see better. That is approximately 7 inches. So you're going to want to cut it at about 3.5. And the best way to do that, just to be on the safe side, is to grab a pencil. I'm going to try to duck in here and get to where about 3.5 is right there. I'm going to turn it around and kind of come across to approximately 3.5. Yeah, I can't see what I'm doing because I'm actually working around the camera. But that gives you an idea of approximately where it is. And you are just going to cut it in half. They cut nicely with scissors. Okay, and you are going to do that to 4 of them. Well, actually to 2 of them, so you end up with 4 pieces, because we're going to be using those in a minute when we're doing our gluing. So I'm going to pull this right back over. I am going to grab my Fabri-Tac, and first thing you want to do is make sure that not only are they lined up, but that they fit good together, because sometimes there may be a little gap. You may have to rearrange them until you get them to where they fit really nice. Okay, so I'm just going to take this and just go right down the side like so. And by the way, when you put these together, if there's any of this glue, if you're using Fabri-Tac, it will rub right off, just kind of rolls off. If you're using a hot glue gun, I'm sure there are tricks for that as well. So, got these two together, and just press firmly, and again make sure that they are lined up. If there's glue coming out on this side, this is going to be the bottom. I'm not overly worried about it because no one's going to see it, but I will turn it over and check out the other side here in a minute and remove any excess glue. I will show you something here really quick. This is the Fabri-Tac glue, and literally it just rubs right off. It's kind of a interesting glue, but just kind of balls right up and comes right off like that. Okay, I grabbed a different bottle of Fabri-Tac because that one was getting low, and I can already feel this one sticking, so I'm going to turn it over and just rub all of that off. I don't know if you can see that, but it is just rubbing right off. So I'm going to get this all rubbed off, and then I'm going to glue that stick to this one. Now, if you are using Beacon Fabri-Tac and you don't want to rub it off with your hand, you can use a glue eraser, or you can use a sanding block, and you can pick up a glue eraser at the Dollar Tree. And I'll tell you right now, some people, when they see it, they think, oh, it's an eraser made out of glue that, you know, we can use for erasing pencil. But this is actually an eraser made for rubbing glue off from things, so it's pretty awesome. So now we're going to turn this over. So this is the bottom that no one is going to see. And we are going to be using those little pieces that we cut just as support to keep everything together. But because I'm going to be putting some legs on the bottom of this, we need to know that the legs are where they need to be before we put these on. And now I'm not saying to glue the legs on right now, even though that wouldn't be a bad idea, but I'm not going to. So I'm going to line these up where I'm going to put them as legs. And just to give me an idea of where things are going to be. Now, these are going to go in the middle. They are just, I don't know how to describe it, you know, kind of as added support. So their legs, only their legs in the middle where no one is going to see them. So let's just start putting some things on here like so. And then we're going to have a leg like that. And then we'll put a couple of these down about here and another leg. Of course, I am going to have to measure to make sure that the legs are kind of spaced out evenly, and I'm going to end up getting my head in the way of the camera. So I'm going to do this, and I'll be right back and show you what I did. Okay, so this first brace is 3 inches from that end, and this one is 3 inches from that end. And so that's 3 inches. We're going to come in again to 6 for the next one, and we're going to come up here to 11 for the next one. And that's where we're going to put those, and then we're going to put these other legs right in between those two, just like that. Okay, so I'm going to be using my T-ruler to make sure that everything stays straight, and I am going to start at this end and get everything lined up like so. Whoops, moved it. Okay, there we go. And I'm just going to be still using my Beacon Fabri-Tac. By the way, if you're not familiar with Beacon Fabri-Tac, it bonds fabrics, lace, glass, leather, wood, and trim, and more. And just wanted you to see that, you know, it is for wood, and it does an amazing job. I've never had a problem with this, ever. Okay, so I'm just going to set that down right there. And honestly, you know, this is underneath. No one's going to see it. It doesn't have to be exact, but I would kind of like it to be exact. I'm going to move those off for a minute because they're getting in my way. And I'm going to do the same thing to all 4 of these braces, okay? I thought I would show you gluing the last 2 pieces on here because I wanted you to see that when you're putting them together, I'm also gluing one of the ends. So let me get this where you can see it. And then the end, so that it glues those 2 pieces together as well for extra stability. Just make sure that everything is lined up. And there we go. So now we are just going to let this sit and dry. I like to let it sit overnight. And so with the magic of video, I'll be back tomorrow. And I'm back, and the glue is dry, and this is ready to start staining. And actually, I have made 2 of these because I couldn't decide whether I wanted it stained or painted, but I'm not going to do them both on camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start staining the back of this. And this is what I'm going to be using, this Home Decor wax in antique wax. And it's not as messy as regular stain, or at least in my opinion. And so I'm just going to be painting it on, and then I'm going to be wiping it off with a paper towel. It's best to use a lint-free cloth, but my paper towels seem to be pretty much lint-free and seem to work really well for this. And so let's just get this on here. And then I'm just going to wipe. Now, obviously, the underneath really isn't going to be seen. And if you didn't want to do the underneath, you wouldn't have to. Because in this particular case, that red writing is going to show no matter what I do to it. But like I said, this is for me and not for someone else, so I'm okay with that. Yep, I'm even going to do the little brown pieces here. And I'm going to do this to the whole thing, or the whole back side of it for right now. And then I'll be back. Okay, the bottom is stained, and I have to admit I did a pretty sloppy job, but to be honest, something was going on at the moment that took priority, and I wanted to continue the video. So luckily no one's going to see this, and now I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to be staining the top. And to save a little time, I already glued on those tumbling tower blocks. And so what I did is I started this one in about 2 3/4 inches, or was it 2.5? And then I did the same thing at this end, brought it in the same distance, and then put this one in the center. And did the same thing on the opposite side, and then centered these 2 on the ends. And you could decide how far apart you want those. That's just kind of what I did. And now it is time to start staining, and we'll see what this looks like when I'm done. But today I should do a much better staining job, and let's just get started with that. I'm going to be putting the stain on, going with the grain of the wood, which is really important. And I didn't really do that on the back, which is part of the problem, because you know, we had those little braces going across and everything else. And so, but for the top, I am definitely going to be going with the grain of the wood.
I'm just brushing this on, and once I get it brushed on, then I'm going to again take my paper towel. Like I said, you can use a paper towel, a lint-free cloth, or whatever, and I'm just going to go over it and wipe off the excess. So I'm going to be back when I get all of this done. And here it is, complete. And as you can see, it matches the style of the hanging shelf that I have here, which I can't get all on the camera at one time. And if you missed this video, I'll have a link here on the screen, as well as the end of the screen here at the video, and down below in the description box, so that you don't miss that. And also, here's the white one that I made. And I actually plan on doing some distressing to that, so it's not really complete. But let's go put some things on this and see what it looks like.
This little tabletop shelf can be used in so many ways, and I'm sure you have some ideas of your own. And it looks great stained or painted. I hope you like this project, and I hope you check out some of the other paint stick projects that I have. Thank you all for stopping by today, and happy crafting, everyone. I'm sad to say, but during the recording of this video, we had to say goodbye to our precious little Princess Zoe. She will be greatly missed. If you like this video, I hope you give it a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed, I hope you consider that too. And if you do, be sure to click the little bell next to the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos or giveaways. And I hope you stop by Crafters Castle on Facebook and also Crafters Castle Challenge blog to enter your creations.